We're on. Just the two of us today. We're going to kick off with the old intro video. Welcome back, guys. We're not starting yet. This is the pre-show, the pre-pre. It's a weird day today. It's weird. It's Wednesday, so we didn't get Messi. He's got some fam coming in hot, and Gunny. Well, we'll tell the whole story in just a sec here. Gotta get fired up. Boom, boom, boom. Here we go.
If you're sitting here watching this stream today, you cannot underestimate how ahead of the curve you are right now.
Bitcoin looks tired. Altcoins look hungry.
I'm just not quite sure that Bitcoin has any more sauce.
I still think this thing is really worth a lot more than it is.
This stuff's spooky, man. These chaos PRZs are intense.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Solana is highly performant and has the team with the experience to support it.
$4,800 Ethereum. That's a big, big move here.
Whatever you do, always play from a position of strength. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. Oh my God, it's morning. Nope, it's not. It's good afternoon. Good to see you guys. DeltaFi Wednesday today. Odd day. And with an odd day, we get an odd number of people on the panel. Myself, Rob Levy. No, that makes it sound like I'm Rob Levy. If it's your first time here, my name is not Rob Levy. I am RT, short for Random Task. That's Rob Levy. How you doing?
Great. Doing great. How are you, buddy?
I'm fired up, man. I was thinking about it yesterday. You know, I'd had 3 coffees. We did the stream. Then I had a call with the whole team over at my fund, and we were just like, and I was just like, blah, 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 like, and I was just like, oh man, I'm fired up. I've had so much coffee. But then I couldn't sleep last night. And I was looking at the charts and shit, and I realized that's dopamine. Like, I'm fired up. It's been a long time. We woke up today, you know, no big nuke yet. Oh, I don't want to jinx it. Might happen on the stream. But like, it's the first time that we've really had this kind of sustained bullishness, and it's sad, but it's true. That shit fires me up. It affects my day. It affects my head. So I feel great. I feel good. And I want to show everybody the VPVR again, because I'm seeing a lot of people looking at low time frames, looking for the dump, the breakout, the fake out. And I don't know that I would recommend that approach. I think we have to be rational. I think we have to pull our head away from a recency effect or a recency bias, and just let's get a real good look at the charts today. It's just you and I, so we can talk till the cows come home. We can dive into some stuff, and I found a few juicy looking charts, and I have a thesis. So I don't know about you, Rob, but I got lots to share today. Let's get over the charts.
I mean, guys, RT is one of the best, most beautiful charts in the game. I mean,
Coming
really,
from you. I like that.
you really, I could sit and go through charts with you all day long, and I think I'll do it.
Yeah, well, say hi to guys in the chat. We've got Tom Skinner, we got Gear, we got Smeety Boop. Boys are back, yep. And look, I appreciate that, Rob, coming from you, a 25-year market maker in options in Chicago, vet. Like, I've had the privilege of hanging out with you, and not as much anymore. I mean, I know when I first started Hero Labs with you, I mean, we'd kick it every morning. We would just talk charts and chill. And so I love these. I love these little sessions. This is like, I'm like, yeah, I'll do DeltaFi just as an excuse for us to do this again, to get to kick it. So let's start off where starting off should be started, which is with Bitcoin. I'm going to pull it up over here. This is another coin, not Bitcoin. Let's go to Bitcoin. I was looking through a lot this morning. I had sort of like a market review sesh with my homie, and you know, we're looking for coins that fit the thesis. And the thesis is that the ETH Merge Narrative. This is my thesis. It's not like, you know, fucking secret. I think that the ETH Merge, but I think the ETH Merge is going to take over. I think that narrative is going to grab everything in this market and drag it up, presumably. But at least, you know, like ETH Merge delay, whoa, market's going to come down. ETH Merge date finalized in September 18th. market's going to run. And so the question I have, as ever, is how can I make money in the market based on this information? I can be long Ethereum. It ran, 80%? Let's go look at ETH. ETH is arguably more exciting right now, even though Bitcoin has been clawing back some market share this last 2 days.
Yeah.
But look at ETH. So obviously we want to start here. The king of the narrative, up 61% off the recent lows. And let's see, got a few little lines here. 84% off the ultimate lows here. So how can we then, instead of saying, well, I missed it, and then I either have to chase this, which is, or we can look for like what's going to come next. Well, I'll show you what I saw. I'm walking you. I guess we're going to start with the thesis. We're just going to walk through it. Well, I saw Matic really catch a bid. You see, I've already set up my PCZ. I think that's the season we're about to head into, because especially in a bear market, these rallies back, they're not very good at picking you up. You got to really be aggressive. In fact, everything I tried to get pick up on in the last 2 days, they front ran even this 382 and then kept going. So Matic, what was the other one? There was another kind of, LDO, Lido.
Lido. Yeah, you knew that was going to have, that thing's been so volatile, staked ETH. You just had a feeling after, I know a couple funds had to blow out of their position in that. God, what an opportunity if you could pick the bottom in that thing. Now, obviously, many people tried picking the bottom at $2, at $1.50, at $1.25, at $1, and then it went down to 50 cents. So,
42.
Yeah, like that's the one thing with these. It's just the liquidity and in these circumstances, like you think $1 is a level, and doesn't have to be $1, 1x, and stuff in this space can go to 0.5x or 50 cents like that. 40
Extreme.
Cents. Yeah. So
now look at this reclaim though. This I know it's hard, and I struggle with this too. You see a big rally like this, and then you're like, oh well, I've missed something. Well, you kind of put some a new perspective in it when you draw a really strong kind of historical support line. Support, resistance, support, breaks down. Well, we've reclaimed that, and that we've reclaimed it on a lot of volume. And again, this narrative, ETH leading, what's going to echo, where's that liquidity going to flow, trickle down to, or in this case, just more stables being deployed. I think there's like an insane amount of stables right now on chain, let alone on exchange. So I think it would be weird for a narrative like this to dry up prior to the merge, which much to our benefit is still quite a ways away. So I think there's a ton of room here for us to get juice out of these, to kind of capture, prolonged upside. And just to be clear, for now, technically we're still in a bear market. So this is all counter trend rally stuff, which is not, you shouldn't sleep on that though. Counter trend rallies can be sustained. They can last for weeks. And they're usually very aggressive, and mean reversion trades and all that. So it's not even about, is this the bottom, is this not? Let's trade what's in front of us. And so after seeing LDO and Matic kind of echoing along with ETH, I started to think, okay, so we're seeing this sector trend kind of rally emerge, where it's Ethereum and then ETH L2s, ETH2 staking protocols. So I put one of my little minions on it last night, and I think he's watching. So I'm actually going to ask him to DM me the list. I want to look at the list today on stream, because I'm looking for, optimism. Look at optimism. Looks hot. And so the idea being like, let's get long on everything that benefits from Ethereum and Ethereum 2 doing very well. That's kind of my thesis here for the next 2 months. Anyways, what do you think, Rob? What are your thoughts?
I think that Ethereum, like most everything here, Ethereum had such a strong narrative earlier in the year. And I kept hearing from colleagues that I know who work at staking companies and different even infrastructural plays within the space, and not necessarily crypto native, but the talk was the merge, the talk was ETH2, the talk was staking, the talk was a waiting list to actually get ETH staked. So that very much had the market positioned for higher prices. And this was when ETH was still $3,000, 3,500. So it went down to 800. I mean, literally ETH, the second largest crypto asset, lost. I mean, we saw it 75% like in a blink. So a lot of that was people who were bullish at 3,000 who got washed out. I mean, ETH is what we thought it was. You look at the whole macro picture, and you've got macro kind of headwinds we've been facing, but the ETH merge at this point, like, absolutely could surprise people, right? Like if it becomes a truly deflationary asset or close to it, and the stakers are collecting all these fees and it's working, look out. I mean, ETH could rally hard against Bitcoin. I mean, and Bitcoin, while Bitcoin's rallying, which is the best sort of rally. So the only thing that scared me a little bit about what you said with your thesis was you're already kind of, so you're looking at ETH, so you like ETH. So your assumption is that this ETH thing is going to be positive. So then you're looking at the L2s and the others that are going to benefit. So it's almost like if you're getting balls long ETH, and then you're getting long, like kind of those derivative plays, you're really, really long. So does it make sense that you've got your ETH longs, and then maybe you curb some of the other length to that specific bucket, and maybe you go elsewhere to Avalanche, or Avalanche could be it, because that is, it's kind of an L.
Well, I actually had somebody say that yesterday. They're like, well, isn't AVAX in an ETH L2? And I was like, not really. It's certainly not being marketed as that. It is an extension of the EVM model. Mm-hmm. They have their own subnets. They have their own, L2 kind of architecture. I don't consider AVAX an L2. Now, I think AVAX will do well. It looks bullish. This was more about, first of all, the whole market looks really good right now.
Yeah.
Right? Like W's everywhere. Like you go look at ENJ right now. We got a fat W breakout, nice volume. I mean, we're going to go down this little list here. We got another fat W. This whole list looks good. Optimism done nothing but go down. Nice fat breakout on volume.
Can we go over, because I see W's and M's too, in these charts, and we talked about this so much when we got together. But can you tell people why the power of the W in these times, and show why, like, the best, most patient will wait to see these signs? So that's why I'm really excited.
Yeah, that's a really good point. When we talk about market structure, we'll just pick on METIS now, which I actually
even in ETH, the one you pulled up, like, it was so clear to me, like,
so
where are we trying to pick bottoms here? Look, you pick bottom, but here we go.
So it's really, when we talk about M's and W's in market structure, it's about trend reversals, right? So, you're trending up, lower high, and then we break that midpoint. And that is where the trend reversed technically, in a definition wise. And so what you're going to see is there's a whole lot of traders that are watching that. And so when you see things break down and then fail, typically they fall out hard. Now, there's so many examples of this. The one that just popped into my head, for better or worse, was Wonderland. When this thing turned, oh my God. Now, obviously, this had a lot of leverage kind of baked into it with all of the, the way that the tokenomics worked. But you can see here, as soon as that reversed, as soon as it retested that, boom, right? And so it is a technical signal. It's a very strong one. You can count on people trading it. So when I look, let's say, at Ethereum, we have, and look, there's going to be fake outs, right? TA is not about 100%. It's about finding risk and managing it. And sometimes you're going to be wrong. So like here, and I was actually offside on this one. Here we had a nice fat W. We broke out. We tested it. We lost that level. And then just like that breaks down. And so you have to have an invalidation. So you don't just get stuck in this W midway through a bear. But here, there was no signals to buy. There was literally never a moment where I'm thinking I'm going to buy, right? Because we're just in a downtrend. It's higher, lower highs, lower lows. But that changed. That changed here, right? We had a low. There's the lower low. Then we had a lower high. So nothing's really happened here. But then we had a higher low. I said, oh, that's interesting. nothing there. Higher low again, and then we got the close, the breakout. And ever since this candle, that really confirmed the W. And so you can see it on the chart,
And
right? And there's all this things. Sorry, there's like double bottoms, double tops, head and shoulders.
Yeah.
It's all the same. It's M's and W's, and this is one of the strongest TRI concepts, and that I just talk about all the time. So
yeah. And let's talk about how it can keep you from getting chopped up. Really, I mean, we were all feeling good on that last. It made a higher low there, and then you're feeling good when it's kind of coming to the top of the range. You're like, oh shit, it might go, but you don't. You want to wait for the signal.
Big time, yeah. Actually, I think I have the range here.
Yeah.
And it was great to trade. I mean, you can trade ranges. I put these on kind of as a joke in the Discord, but you can sit here. I know this range has been drawn a few different ways. I had it right down to the bottom pip, for better or worse. But then so you kind of identify where is our range high, range low. I think arguably I don't love this range low, but anyways, and then this being the equilibrium, the halfway point. And so yeah, we swept these range highs and then we dumped back down. And this was the CPI print where you could say, okay, we have a negative kind of catalyst, but we recovered it right away. And as crypto goes and as markets go, it's often at that max pain point and that sweep of those lows. And then suddenly it's just like no holds barred, no chance to get on board. You're left behind. And so what I would do here, because technically not on ETH, but on Bitcoin, this did confirm the W, right? We had the low, we had a high, we had a higher low, and we made a higher high here. And so that was my signal to start thinking like reload zone, let's get long.
Was it? I mean, look at that.
Yeah.
Look how many people potentially got faked out right there.
Here, yes.
Well,
but in this case,
but
the W invalidation for me is here.
Yeah, no, but it's at the top. Like,
Oh,
right,
yeah, this, yeah.
Yeah, that
because those are breakout traders, right? Breakout trading is very dangerous, right? In a high momentum market with ramping up volume and RSI overbought and everything's just momentum. You can trade breakouts and it's like, okay, we're going higher and you're just not going to get these reload zones very, very often. But in a bearish, rangy market, I think it's risky to be racing into breakout trades. And so I just don't. It's hard to identify exactly when and when not to. You just kind of have to learn to feel it and understand it. But what I do get is these dips into these reload zones after you get that confirmed W is basically the juiciest setup you can have. And they don't always hit, right? Sometimes you get stopped out. Sometimes you get wicked and then it goes. Sometimes you just get wrecked. And so you always have to just buy as close to these lows as possible using this tool. And then also, get ready to get the fuck out if you're on the wrong side of it. But in this case, we're running. I think we are into this beautiful gap on the VPVR, which is right here. And so you're going to see this. It's already starting to fill in here. It's starting to fill in here. Anytime there's volume or anything traded at a price, it shows itself on these. And just like with gap theory, where if there's a fat gap there, it wants to get filled in, this wants to get filled in. So this is now support. This is where we can expect to see resistance. And in between is a real big vacuum. So that's the majors. I mean, that's Bitcoin. It's catching up today. We can see on the Bitcoin dominance here, it's had like a decent little rally. That's really zoomed in. I've been mostly looking at it on the daily and weekly. As you guys know, we go back to the weekly. This is from our newsletter days, like, what was it, last summer, 2 summers ago? But, we've been tracking this from basically the breakdown back in December 2020. And this was like where I assumed things would consolidate because we're just at massive support. So let's see. I think, again, with the ETH merge coming up, what that really means is like, what is it, Rob? Like 5 halvenings, 8 halvenings as far as like the supply shock it's going to experience?
It's big. It's big. I mean, unknown stuff like this, I love it. It's going to be a catalyst. I think, I'm telling you, people were wanting to get on board for this merge when ETH was 3,500, legitimately. And now we've got 1,500 ETH and you can get on board. Now, granted, everything is relative. Bitcoin also was 45,000. Like, it's not, every little thing isn't in its own silo. We're in it's a big universe here. But the bottom line is, in this space especially, there can be there can be effects from these sorts of changes, which are big. And if it goes like 8 halvings and the deflationary things kicking in, you're going to see people want to pile into this thing hard. And when more and more people are staking and there's less tokens on the market and stuff, you never know what happens. So if you like ETH in general, I mean, you got it on discount here for the merge. It's going to be a big catalyst. Could be negative too. I mean, let's not.
I think on the moment, it could certainly pivot, right? I mean, especially in this, yeah. If nothing else, I think we could totally pivot. Like whatever we do into the merge, I think we're going to get the opposite reaction just after, for what it's worth.
Yep.
Sorry, I cut you off there. I get excited.
No, I'm with you. The bottom line is for traders, it's great. You want events. Traders, we want events. We live on these events. Events are amazing. Everyone's trying to price the event. I mean, that was the big thing when running an options desk and futures and options is you're trying to price every event, right? Like when you're making markets and equities, it's earnings, it's conference calls, it's all stuff like that. When you're looking at corn and soybeans and wheat, and those sort of commodities, it's all about crop reports. It's about the crop progress reports. It's those numbers and events that we try to price and see what's mispriced and stuff. So events are the best, man.
Yeah, and they give you a chance to time the market, right? Timing the market is extremely difficult. But if you have a mainnet launch coming up in 6 weeks and things are rallying, you know exactly when to sell. Get the fuck out as soon as it's peak euphoria. Like, once the mainnet goes live, we're going to moon. And people don't realize, and I say that jokingly, like this is how I thought too when I first started, right? You get so hyped. You say, oh, you think you're buying before the catalyst because once the catalyst hits, but as you just described, it's priced in by the time it comes. In fact, it's usually overpriced, right? Big Binance listings, everyone say, oh, everything times lists on Binance, it just dumps after. It's like, well, that's because it rallied into the event because there was a lot of insiders and their friends buying. Yeah. Coinbase listings, it's all the same. So I love events. I love listings. I love mainnets. I love merges and halvenings. It's the best.
Because you get the added variables of it, like how is the market positioned? I mean, we used to say there were times in corn, like where you could hand me what the crop report said. And unless it was some blowout number, obviously, like the USDA was way off. If it was like, a close-ish but meaningful, a lot of us would say, I can't tell you where we'll close tomorrow after it comes out, because so much has to do with positioning going in. So much has to do with option volatility, who's on what side, who gets, like, it's really a lot of these events has to do with market structure and how people are positioned going into it. Now, clearly, when numbers are printed, when they hit the wire, when results come out and they're massive outliers one way or another, you can be pretty sure which way the market's going to move short term, but other than that, positioning.
Well, it's interesting because the merge trade was really discussed, I think kind of as an echo to like Arthur's article that came out earlier this year where he talked about it. And there was a lot of other funds making their thesis about it. And then it turned out to be like the meme. It was like, oh yeah, the ETH merge, because everyone was underwater. They were buying it too soon. Then you have this, like, in retrospect, I think it's going to look like an absolute gift where a massive fund gets blown out. And in turn, along with Luna collapsing, which may have led to the other, you can't really tell. But maybe it was the Luna collapse that triggered the three arrows kind of tailspin. Point is, it was this gift of sort of forced selling, even staked ETH was depegging, all right before what is arguably the most bullish thing to ever happen in ETH's kind of fundamental history. Kevin Weiner in the chat just pointed out that EIP 1559 last year, that was where they started to burn all the fees instead of giving them to miners, was equivalent to roughly 3 halvings, according to whoever you heard that from. And he's saying this one is actually equivalent to close to 6 halvenings. So it is a significant event. We've now seen the reversal. And if you were wondering, is the market going to care about this? I think you can argue that yes, it is, because as soon as, and this is a 3-day, let's go look at the daily, as soon as we had a bullish close, because remember, like I said up here, we didn't actually get the confirmed market structure like Bitcoin did. It's Solana, everything, nothing else made the confirmed bullish here except for Bitcoin. Then we had the final dip, and as soon as this, cat's out of the bag, and now it's just like, fuck, 30%, 40% in 1 week. I mean, it's the market is going to rally around this, if nothing else, because there's just no other catalyst coming until Bitcoin halving or
let's
regulations.
We've been in such a nasty trend here. Would it surprise you if we turn around and go test that that horizontal line down there again? Like,
yeah, no.
Even the like, honestly, for me, you never, like, we could be turning around sooner than we think because
FOMC next week
happens. And it's some European central bank says, we're going to raise out of negative. Like,
here's a fist from every TradFi guy in the world. Yeah, look, really good point. Let's keep it level-headed today. We are coming into resistance. We're 5% off last year's like summer lows. This is a massive level. It reminds me a little bit of 6K. 2019 when Bitcoin was coming up to 6K though, and everyone was like, "Oh, I'm going to short 6K, easiest trade in the world," and it just got lambasted. Bottom line is we've got some work to do here.
Yeah,
and this probably doesn't resolve until it's filled in, and that means we do have to visit 12, 13. So the question is, what will that catalyst be, and can I hold my conviction in the trade that I really want to make, which is all the way out? I think now the best estimate I heard was like September 18th, kind of like right here, is possibly where we see that merge. So do we have, let's see, like a reasonable or a most aggressive pullback level would be like the pump chaser zone, the PCZ. So like, is it FOMC next week? And it's like, oh, Wednesday, we're all macro experts again. Like, is that something that we see into the merge, and then we kind of maybe, stop out everyone who's trying to short those lows, and then that's the merge, and then we really come down and fill this range in, and it's a bear market. That's plausible. I think that's probably the most probable. The reason I'm all about these other plays is because I'm already long ETH, right? I picked some up through this. We talked about it on the show. I was just like, it just feels like the odds-on favorite to go higher here from this range at 80% maybe. So I had my ETH. I'm not buying more up here. Hell no. Not right now, not yet. So what can I do? Where's the echo energy, right? Where are all these stable coins that have been left behind? Where are they going to look for their piece of the dopamine cookie? And I think L2s. I think the market already told us that because LDO is the staking protocol. Anyways, I've got to watch this here. I don't usually do this. I wouldn't usually do this because I paid for this alpha. I've got analysts that work for me. I've hired them. They do a lot of work. I say, I've got a crazy idea. And they say, okay, boss, we're going to go look it up. Well, this is the list they came up with. So if you want to screen cap it, go for it. I picked up some of these from Twitter. Somebody mentioned RPL, Rocket Pool, as another L2 staking protocol. ETH2 staking protocol. Got Rob's old friend here, ZRX. We've got IMX kind of as an infrastructure NFT, apparently maybe an L2. So, Boba is the one I put out on Twitter yesterday. I think ETH L2, I think that could run. And then METIS, as I showed you on screen, is already kind of taken off without me here. But the volume speaks volumes, right? There's a lot of this stuff coming in. So it's less about levering up my ETH thesis and more about just trying to catch like a 40, 80, 100% gain sometime between now and September.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Fuck yeah, it would be. Already enjoyed, a decent gain from this range. So I think it's time that I also have to just kind of be careful. Like, do I need to make it all back? No. I think from where I was down here to where I am now, that's like I could close up shop and say I had a good month. But the charts say that this is the beginning of a new move. Maybe not a full-blown 2-year bull market, but let's be reasonable. Where is this going to end? It's at least, METIS DAO is not, it's not my favorite out of all these. As far as like where the resistance is, I don't see any actually. In fact, that's a shit chart. Let's go see the real one. I think there's a lot more history here maybe. Yeah, look at this. So this is sort of where I was originally looking at it. So like a chaos PRZ is all the way up at $70, basically a 2x. So I think if we come down and test 30, that's like an area where I'd be like, I could get long off that and see if I can catch 2x into September. How are you seeing the market, Robert? I mean, are you kind of sticking to the blue chips? Are you sticking to Bitcoin, ETH? You're not trading too much? Like, what are you up to these days?
Oh, I mean, I'm not trading as much as I used to. Really focusing on the futures and options on Hero Network, but I definitely I'm watching the market constantly. I'm in there. I am cautiously optimistic. I you know I, like everyone else, has seen, if you had exposure to any coin, you've seen tremendous drawdown in value.
Mm-hmm.
Even in everyone who's watching here, like I am such a long-term bull when it comes to Bitcoin, when it comes to
You.
um, Ethereum and Solana and like token networks that are used and my thesis is Bitcoin's going to go way, 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 way higher. Ethereum, Solana, as well, but Bitcoin still is it's the anchor. It's the lifeblood still of this space. Now it might not be that way forever, but bottom line is it kind of is.
It is until it isn't. Yeah.
Yeah. So I am optimistic. I think Bitcoin is oversold relative to the rest of the market. I'm for long-term bags. If you're a long-term buyer, someone who wants to buy Bitcoin to give to their kids, to put away for retirement, for whatever, these are levels you want to be buying. Like dollar cost average, do whatever you can do. Now, if you're swing trading and you're breakout trading and all that, this is a volatile market and there's opportunities here. And you're going to see like real opportunities continue. But what I like to do, like, you have to separate your kind of forever bags, the stuff that, it's like almost your equivalent of your 401k, your retirement stuff that you really think is going to appreciate over long period of time. And then the stuff that you're looking for moves, which could be a half hour, could be 2 weeks, could be 2 days, a month. It's just you got to know what game you're playing. What game are you playing and when?
Define your time frame.
Yeah.
Your thesis or your,
Yeah.
Wow. I just noticed this 3-day. Look at this volume. And actually in 7 hours, this 3-day is going to confirm the next time frame's W. So obviously a weekly W is the most powerful signal that I look for in crypto. This 3-day is more powerful than a daily, right? You have your low, you have your higher low, you have your higher low, and then you have your breakout. So we're about to confirm a very strong breakout. Now, I think you just nailed it. I had a tweet the other day. I think it was a retweet, but it was basically just saying like finance Twitter is basically just a bunch of people talking over each other, or no, a bunch of people on different time frames, with different time horizons talking over each other. Because if you are looking to load Bitcoin for 10 years, this is a wonderful level to think about that. Anywhere in this reload zone, anywhere from 11,000 to 27 is going to look presumably great in 10 years if your thesis plays out.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to give a fuck where you bought it down here. It's just going to be like, oh, you were early. If you're on a 15-minute chart, this is not a great place to buy Bitcoin, probably. It's up 40% in 3 days, 5 days, whatever it is, 10 days. But if you're in a midterm swing position, right? I think the trade right now that I'm in, I don't think it's going to go that long. It's probably a little more vertical, but it's up to here, right? I don't expect us to blast through that on the first try. So we're kind of like halfway to where I'm trying to get out of this trade. So midterm swing, low time frame, scalps, long-term hold, you got to define who you are, what you want to do. And maybe that's a bit of both. Maybe it's like, hey, I'm a DCA, a little bit of this. I'm going to scalp over here. But this is a midterm swing for me. So I'm trying not, I did look at some 15-minute charts. I'm trying not to get too caught up with bearish divergences on the 15 minutes and like these little, like if I was trying to trade the 15-minute, like I would have got shaken out here because we had a high, we had a sweep of the highs, then we dumped, we bearish market structure. I would have got into this short reload zone here and I would have tried to short it. I would have got blown out. So I'm not doing that this time around. I'm looking at the daily. I'm seeing the VPVR. I said, if we break into this fat gap, we're just off to the races. We're going to have a great trade. I wouldn't even be surprised if it looks like a BART when it's all said and done. because there's just nothing here. And that's my trade. So probably setting some take profits.
Yeah. What are the, yeah, I mean,
on that, not
what
on
are
my
the
long
odds?
bags, but
What are the odds of BART versus kind of prolonged chop in there? I don't know.
yeah, it's tough to say, right? It's just about where am I going to get out? Where am I wrong?
Yeah.
Which at this point is probably like losing this kind of key level.
Yeah.
Which is like 21.5, maybe 22. I probably just cut my bags there because I'm actually still in a little bit of profit at those levels. I can say, hey, I had a little bit of a winning trade. It didn't end well, but it could have been worse. If we retest that level, I'll probably add because then I'm right next to my invalidation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could shoot straight up. We could chop a little, find our way up there over the next month. It's really, really tough to say. And it doesn't really matter, honestly, as long as it's not invalidated and it ends up here before it ends up here. So
yeah,
patience for me
bottom
in this
line
trade.
is for you non-US people, like you could have played that Wix that we mentioned, like looking at this chart and the gap, like what do you think the odds are Bitcoin will touch 26,000 before the end of September? And remember, that was priced at 45% when we looked at it last week. You could have bought 45%. And let's see.
What's that
now? Let's see. It's higher than that, but let me take a look. I gotta.
For those of you who are here watching today, thank you for taking the time to watch us on a Wednesday, which is an odd time for us. We're going to come back Thursday next week for DeltaFi, Tuesday for the network effect. Thank you. If you haven't already, hit the sub, hit the like. Be nice, be kind. We're here to give it out and ask questions in the chat today.
Yeah.
With only two of us here, we got lots of, feels like we have lots of time in real estate to answer questions and kick it. What did you see on that TIX Wix?
It's priced at 80%. So
probability of it happening.
Yeah. So that is a quick, if you would have bought 45s last week, you sell 80s. That's, on what, 88% gainer. That's the beauty of options when you see opportunities like that.
Like when you expect volatility, right? That's actually, I remember that conversation. And the thing I said to Dan was like, okay, but we could just chop longer than, and then that September expiry just gets rinsed by, what is that? Vega decay? What's that?
It's theta
decay. Theta decay. But that's the other side of it. But as it turns out, we got the
you're never going to get around that. Yeah, you're looking for the bottom line here is you guys all were like, I think it's a 65%. If I feel it's 2 out of 3. We got 2.5 months. Look at the volume. Like everything to me says 2 out of 3. And if they're offering it at 45, when you think it's worth 66, that's some edge there. It gives you some margin of error. So, you look and see when the odds are priced one way, you really think the fair value is off. Like you look for that cushion and try to get as much cushion there as you can on all your little plays.
Hold up, Timothy Hegberg says, lol, RT pumping Matic immediately takes a dive. First of all, Matic is not taking a dive. Second of all, I wasn't pumping it. If anything, I said it was leading, showing me that I think we're going to see an L2 rally here for general L2s. This, to me, was the catalyst, not the trade. So you got to listen carefully, my friend. What do we got? Like a 5-minute chart watcher?
Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin's down like $350 in the last 15 minutes. So that's it. I mean,
this is your time horizons, right?
Narrative is, are we trading for the 1 minute or are we trading for the 1 day or the 1 week or the 1 month, and know what you're looking at and what other people are looking at, or else I have to remind myself that because I go hang out in the pit and like there's a lot of day traders in there. There's a lot of guys. They're like, everything's nuking. And I look at the daily and it looks like this. And I'm like, what? And then I zoom in and there's like a really nasty 1 minute candle. And it's like, oh, like this is nuking right now, right? And if you're sitting in zoomed in on ranges and you're sitting there scalping it up, like this would be pretty bad to be long on. But even going out to the hourly, I'm just like, we're in an uptrend. Yeah.
We're actually looking like a nasty print here on the hourly. If we close it in 19 minutes below this candle body close, that would actually be an empire fractal, which is a cool little symbol, or it looks basically like this. It's where you have a tall candle up, a candle that sticks out the top, and then a candle right back down that closes below. That's kind of a reversal fractal. Can happen at the lows as well. So let's keep an eye on that. But again, is that going to invalidate my 4-hour daily trades? No. This would be like invalidating maybe, the long I took this morning on boba.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's a fun little fractal here that could print, or before the hour closes, it could just shoot back up, and then there's just a wick here, and it doesn't mean shit. It's literally useless.
Yeah.
It's also just a candle fractal, which I don't actually trade off. I find they're not too strong in and of themselves. If they fit a whole bunch of other things and reasons to trade, I might consider it. But yeah, it's definitely not looking great on the hourly. So look, we're going to remain bullish trend-wise. Let's get rid of this trash. We're going to remain bullish trend-wise on the daily for quite a while, like to a point where it's really going to sicken people how far down this price could go while still being bullish. Like I said, really, this becomes your invalidation point for a bull. So this is not a place where if I was like in stables here suddenly, like, all this holding, sell everything to stables down here, and then here I'm starting to load all my stables back into the market. That's a great way to get chopped up. And I think a lot of people actually probably are doing that. And then when you get something like this, the sky is falling next week, we have FOMC, it's super bad news, but it's actually just a bullish retest. But this is where a lot of people get sold out of bags that they probably bought late. That's how markets, that's just how it goes. That's why you got to have a plan. You got to be long or wait to get long. I don't know. Am I talking too much crazy here, Rob?
No, I think it's good stuff. I mean, bottom line, I really lack in the technical chops department. I lean on you and other pros in that respect. As a market maker in options, it was much less technical and it was a different game and different order flow trading and volatility trading and such. But you're dishing out gold here. You're dishing out gold. I'll tell you, if I would have listened to your preachings 6 months ago, I'd be in a better position for it. So,
yeah, I do remember we had those chats in January, December. But look, to your credit, you stayed bullish throughout the whole last bear market. I remember because Dan used to talk about it, right? Gunny came on here talking about it. And how'd that work out?
Yeah, no,
it was like, so we're just, I think we also just have different time horizons like between us, right? I'm trying to catch these moves. You're still waiting on your longer term thesis, which, and probably correct me if I'm wrong, but I bet you got some dry powder you deployed down here. Well, even though you held more than you wanted to down to there.
It's different. Trading, listen, if you're going to trade the short time horizons, you got to be putting in the work. You got to be sitting at the desk. You got to be studying. You got to be watching. You got to be on alert. I can't do that right now. For 20 years, I was literally in front of order books and in front of markets for 18 hours of the day. And when you're in it, you're in it. If you're not, don't kid yourself and think you're going to make some great day trades when you're not watching it. You're off working or doing some other stuff that you're not putting yourself in a position to succeed. So, am I excited for a day where I can be trading again? Yeah, that was great. It was fun all day, but, I'm not in the position right now. So it's a different mindset, completely.
Yeah. And mindset's key. If you are half-assing an attempt to be on side with the market, you're selling, you're buying, you're selling, you're buying, you're selling, you're buying. And over the next few days, maybe you're selling the support test. So it's really hard. And I know this from experience, just sitting up at my cottage, for example, and I say, like, I'm not going to trade. But you look at your phone and you feel underexposed and the move is bullish. So you say, I'm just going to add a bit. And then you get back to the desk on the next Tuesday or whatever it is, and you're sitting at the desk and everything's dumping back into your support levels. But you're already long from higher up because you thought, well, I'm just going to passively get on side with the trend at the wrong. You really do know how to be in the right mindset and have the right time. And you're building right now.
Yep.
You're building a lot. We talked about it yesterday on the network effect. If you guys didn't catch it, you should go watch some of it, if not the whole thing. We do a little bit of this kind of opening market banter to start, just to, give our takes on what's going on in the market, because I think that's important too. But then we dive into Hxro Network and all the good stuff that's coming up for that. Let's do some requests. I think I've outlined my thesis. I'm gonna pull up the watch list one more time. I don't think I'll post it in the chat. It's honestly, and it's not something I've put any time into. We literally just put this list together this morning at the market roundup on the fund. But this is a lot of names that are related to ETH2 and just in Ethereum in general. AVAX is on there. So I don't know. I haven't vetted it. But this is what my analyst came up with. And he's a smart guy. So we're going to start sifting through this, finding maybe 3 to 5 plays that I think are the strongest. I see OP is... that's a 5 minutes. So never mind. But look, I don't know much about optimism. I feel like it came out as a bit of a dud, or I seem to remember people being disappointed by it. But you can see here, basically came out, did what projects do, rallied at first, done nothing but come down, but it sort of formed a base, and the sellers dried up, right? You can see on this final sell-off here, which I think was probably the CPI print. It didn't even make a new low. So this was the ultimate low back here in June. But either way, it's kind of built a nice little base here. And then we just have this big burst of buy volume. So I would be shocked if... I wouldn't be that shocked if that's the end of the move for now. But I'd be shocked if we don't see a Yamara extension trade here. Sort of like this ABCD. It's called a bot trade. It's from TRI. This is a butchered version of the bot trade. It may take shape. Right now it's not there. But it's where you just get the first move, then you copy that move and you measure it from the low, and then you get the extension. And up here is a great place to take profits. So that's the kind of trade I'm looking for on OP. I bought a little bit this morning, but not enough to sweat. I want to get more of a sweaty bag, maybe in the PCZ, which it front ran this morning right here. So like...
A sweaty bag, that means like enough to make you sweat?
Well, yeah, like a bag that's like, oh, I'm putting a fucking trade on here. I'm not going to risk more than 1% of my account. But like the little bit I picked up today, like I couldn't even tell you the risk. It's probably like 0.1. It's like nothing. It's enough to say I own some. But I mean like a trade that I want to, focus on, pay attention to. And that's probably like 62 to 68% that I want to get in here. With probably what I'm envisioning, what I'd like to see is something like this, like, something like that. Yeah, that's what I imagine I'll get on OP, and I think that could go for, METIS. METIS is one that is rallying up. I have a similar squiggly that kind of thing, and that's going to be true. I think, according to my thesis, a lot of the names on this list, ANKR. ANKR looks like it could do something similar. Same kind of thing. Big burst of buy volume, breaking out, closing above these highs. Let's get that dip. Let's try to get the extension trade. There's just a lot of this happening right now. So I can't trade 100 coins, nor do I want to. So I'm really just trying to suss out the most profitable ones.
Yep.
Probable ones. Is there a catalyst coming up? Does ANKR have a big release coming up mid-August? That would be great. Then it's going to stand out from the others. Yeah, and Coach Papa says METIS kills me. Oh, is it METIS? I think we're back. Yeah, I think we're back. I'm going to get Rob in here. That's brutal. Rendezvous did like a very slow crash. Yeah, we're back. Okay. Let me get him in here. It's too bad. I don't know where we crashed. So if you guys can help us out, Rob was on a good run here. Okay. Victor's having vision problems, but we're back. Yeah, we were just talking DESO. I don't know how far we got into Rob's take, but I'm going to plug him back in here. We're going to wrap up in a sec anyways. It was almost like, oh, we crashed at the METIS pronunciation. Oh, no. Rug again. Harrison B. And back. I see excellent connection, so hopefully that's going to stick around. Let's see. Get Robbie in here. I'm going to get my guy Robbie. There he is. Oh, he's just right in there. Love that. Yeah, sorry, dude. That was weird. Don't know what to make of that. Eventually, the whole program crashed, Wirecast, but at first it just kind of like slow rugged.
It's weird because right at the same time, one of our developers in one of my chats said, "Whoa, did AWS just crash?" And that was he's in another area and it was a blip. So maybe it had.
See, guys, not my fault.
Maybe it had
right.
Something to AWS.
Had flashbacks of last year when I kept crashing the streams because my computer was not optimized. But I think this maybe was AWS's fault. Call Bezos, bro.
Yeah, right.
Okay, let's take a quick take on. I'll give the TDLDR to kind of like set you off because I think we stopped when I was trying to pronounce mighty, which is how you pronounce METIS apparently. Anyways, so the idea that DESO does like to go a full Space Needle once in a while, thinking maybe there was some forced selling involved with the contagion. Some larger funds were holding this coin, so maybe they had to dump it. Rob is saying more surprised than not if this doesn't Space Needle, and then with my TA I'm thinking maybe we Space Needle up to like $29 because that would be roughly the similar rally it had back here.
Yeah, I think that's where we left. Yeah, and we both like I do own this. I've owned it for a while. Nader is a guy that we met through some partners and colleagues from early on in crypto, and he's a really smart developer and also knows markets. And I don't know. I think he's gonna come up with something here. I've looked at his platform and their infinite state. He claims it's the foundation for it's the most economical foundation for like social media on chain and all that. And that's a bucket that I'll place some bets in because I do think that social media and on chain are going to have a lovely, lovely marriage one day. So, this thing is down like 95%. There's still some, like I saw a fund in there the other day, TWAPing, buying every 30 seconds and, like there's just little stuff. And then when you look at the chart and when you see like a token that's, it has history of these sort of, and that was real buying. I mean, this is someone they're really buying. They're doing it in a sloppy manner. And I don't think anyone should ever kind of do this, but there are some participants here who are buying big amounts in an illiquid name. It's illiquid on Coinbase. And, it's even one of those names where you can't like do market orders. So bottom line is I actually, when I'm trying to think about the probability that we see like another Space Needle at some point in this thing, I think it's probably higher than normal. And then I think I said before when we were offline, like I actually think probability is probably higher, or what was it? Like better that we do than we don't. Like I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, look, I know one of the things you love about this coin. We actually made a video about this. You guys can look it up on our YouTube. BitCloud, everything you need to know. That was last year. Obviously, it's repurposed itself to DESO, which I think is a much better branding. Anyways, look at this supply, right? Circulating 10.5 million out of a total max possibility of 10.8. So the emission FUD will never hit this coin.
Agreed.
How the coin is held, I would like to look at their blockchain analytics. I'd love to see, is 80% of the supply in one whale's wallet. Like those are kinds of things that I would have questions about. I still have a bag. I think it's right on their platform, on the BitCloud platform. But maybe I should be DCing down. Fun story. I actually you could say I dumped my bag. I think it went higher after, but I sold a pretty decent sized bag to Amber Group at $100 OTC. So we know their cost basis. I mean, they could have DCA, they could have sold it at 180. I don't know. But
yeah, and they were probably repping some other buyer. But
see, that's way less exciting, right? We're supposed to be like, yeah, you dumped an Amber Group. Okay.
Nah, they're a market, they're a liquidity provider. But look, like zoom in, even on a micro like level, this shit happens all the time. And the market maker in here really, I mean, they push this thing down anytime a buyer comes in, they bring it right back down. Like zoom into the even the hourly or something.
Well, it's a 15-minute.
Oh shit. Yeah, I was looking at the wrong thing. Yeah, I mean, you see this all the time. These moves don't get sustained. So maybe wait for one of them to get sustained. But, you know, if you look at the volume gap, it's big in this one. So
let's see. I mean, yeah, it just looks like low liquidity mess. But look, this is the season to be looking at fundamentals, to be looking at, you know, what are they building? How's their user growth? Do they fit a niche that is perhaps untapped? Is there a bullish thesis for that niche? You know, this is a time to buy things, in my opinion, that are super oversold, super stressed out markets. But like there's still some real juice there, because just like we go way too fucking high and overvalue things, speculatively in markets, we tend to go way too low and undervalue them. So I think this could fit the bill. I mean, I tend to align myself with your takes on these kinds of things because I know you know your shit, and you talk to some people who really know their shit. I followed you into this trade last year. I think, you know, we obviously came out okay. I don't know what you did. I don't know if you sold any. I actually got out with a decent little profit, saved like a moon bag, which I totally forgot about, which is a good way. That's a good moon bag. Look at this though. I mean, arguably it's starting to break out. Yeah,
it's the one thing I just don't like about it is it's very, very low liquidity right now on Coinbase. It really appears like there's one main market maker. I don't know who it is. It's low liquidity. The thing that
$500,000 vol.
I don't like how nobody's really jumped in with any gusto to buy it up here either. So that's kind of my part of the thesis is there probably will be at some point. And when that happens, we're going to see one of those Space Needle things and it could be big. But what I would say is the odds are you should be selling. If you buy it, you should sell into that Space Needle because it just always kind of, they shove it right back down.
So maybe it's like have your asks working kind of thing.
Yeah, but you never, it's the sort of thing where it is that illiquid that you never know what can happen. And we saw it to the downside too. I mean, it literally just cratered. But it's
very early in the bottoming process. Let's just be clear on that. Like, this is the weekly. That's just, you know, you're not.
And let's remember, you started this little segment with the question: do you see any? Are there any weird things that you kind of are seeing on the chart or when you're looking at Coinbase? A lot of the stuff I do see like that does happen on Coinbase. I don't know what that says about the liquidity, or it's just a pure spot market. I don't know, but I
think there's a lot of U.S. institutional accounts on Coinbase, right? So when you've spotted historically like anomalies in like, oh, someone's just like filling the bid there during the bull, a lot of times after you said that, like in the weeks following, there was a sustained rally on those coins.
Yeah.
So I think you've got the sauce with looking for that stuff. It's DESO is particularly low liquidity right now.
And it's good because there is no inflation in that thing, and you know, no one's really come and picked it off the bottom yet. But and let's be honest, on those kind of interesting little anomalies and charts and stuff, a lot of times those spikes mean nothing and it goes down. You know, like I saw a lot of that in ZRX, which had those anomalies, but
ZRX broke my heart last year. I don't think it ever did.
I mean, it broke mine too. I remember Ledger Status too. Like me and him were the guys like, God, ZRX, it's everything in ETH DeFi. But what does the token do? Like, does the token get any value? Like, what the fuck? And you see it. It's in action.
Oh, we were charting it. Looks like fuck.
Yeah, but and I've bought some ZRX down here. I can't lie. Yeah,
it's on my list here. It did make it to my little thesis list. I don't think, I certainly haven't bought any of these yet, except for maybe a little boba. I actually remember this morning we brought it up. It's like, oh yeah, ZRX. Nah, fuck that coin. because last year I think I tried to pick it up so many times and then it just never did much, and then it left without me when it finally did, and I was like,
yeah. So KJ in the chat asking, what will the kettles be that pumps DESO? Elon joining Trump? Does Nader partner with Jack Dorsey? I don't know if it's going to be a name. I actually think they have infrastructure that can be used. Like, it's more of like a hero network type of play where they're building the infrastructure where different applications, different things can plug into it, utilize the extremely low cost for even storing media type of files on chain. So I don't know if it's going to be a name like an Elon or a Trump that like joins. It's more like who's going to build on it and what killer app is going to just blow us away. So that's why I actually think they have a little more kind of optionality and runway, because it is like a true base layer that things can plug into, and it doesn't necessarily need Elon to join or Trump. Would that be great? Yeah. And even
that would do it.
Yeah. Someone wrote like, Elon, you could buy the whole DESO chain at 100 million market cap. You can have the whole thing built for you, and then you bring everybody and it's done on chain, decentralized, boom. When you look at valuations there, we're talking about a network here that is functional, that works, open sourced, that's trading at what, $85 million fully diluted market cap, or 90 million fully
93
diluted?
now, yeah.
That's fully diluted. It's not crazy. So
I like, you just reminded me of something. Here we are at the top of the hour. I don't know how you're doing for time. I got a little left in the tank here.
I've got to be out the door here probably in 15 minutes. So
okay, so let's call it 10. Now Mike is dying to hear you talk about Solana. It sounds like he's in an overweight position and he just wants to hear something bullish. But right before we switch to that, I'm going to point out something now, because this is all circulating versus the max. I love that. And it reminds me of another coin. Now I have to warn you guys, this is a lower liquidity coin right now, which is actually why I'm not adding to my position. One seller is going to bring it down 40%, whatever. It's a weird one because it should be more. I'm pretty sure Alameda is using it on chain. Anyways, one of the guys that I work with just gave me his quick and dirty rundown of this one. We invested in this like a year and a half ago. It's had an interesting year. Let's go take a look at it. Anyways, he described everything to me that they've got coming up, and I was like, holy shit, you're making me so bullish. So this is kind of what we've dealt with. The seed or pre-sale was $2.50. So post-launch, it actually didn't even quite touch that. So we got a decent little entry, not a huge bag or anything, but and we've been adding. We bought some OTC, like the full transparency. We've been adding a bit, but what he described to me, it's basically gone live on SushiSwap. It's like MEV protection. It's gonna it MEVs for you and basically takes that money that it like snipe botted from you and like makes your fees free or something. I don't know. And it generates revenue. And anyways, we're going to be putting out a report on it in the next little while. The reason I brought it up is because he just reminded me, because it's also one of these coins, 2 million total max supply and already like 3/4 of that circulating. It's an interesting, weird kind of fringe DeFi play. But rumor has it, there could be another round coming up, which would secure them some fucking liquidity, because right now it's pathetic and it's sad. I think they have like 200, 300K liquidity for like a year now. And I'm like, guys, you got to beef that up. So, whales don't want to come into coins they don't think they can get out of. So we're just not going to see much action in this thing, I don't think, for a little bit. But I'd put it on your 2022, 23 calendar because everything that a very smart friend of mine described to me yesterday sounds really fucking good. But again, put $500 into this thing, it's going to go up 10%. So be warned, I cannot get out of my position, and I don't want you to, get in there. But I think if we can get the liquidity up, this thing's going to have some really interesting surprises for some people. So I just want to put that out there. roundabout way. Yeah, it does look cool, right, Coach? Yeah. That was a terrible take. As far as like the technicals go, we really need to get that report done. We're writing it in the next few weeks. We'll publish it, and I'll let you guys know. It'll just give you a take on all the stuff he said yesterday that made me excited that I don't know how to repeat. Rob, Solana.
Yeah, Mike's asking about Solana.
Let's go Solana for a bit.
I'm super bullish. Long term. I'm literally in the monkey house. And
you hang out with the lead devs.
I'm one of the dudes like literally throwing shit around at people in the monkey house. I can't even tell how shitty it smells in there from living in the monkey house of all the shit. Like I'm deep in Solana. We're with the Solana Labs team in Chicago. We're building on Solana. We're in it. I feel really good about it, to be honest with you. It's been building on it, building new programs. It's been an experience. It is a learning curve that is a little more extended than it will be in the future. It was a hard, it's kind of just hard to learn. It's new. It's kind of, you're always chasing moving goalposts because they're making changes to the network, improving. It's like there's a ton of stuff going on. We're building on Serum. There was a new Serum version. It's like there's so many variables, but I'm extremely, extremely bullish. I could not be more positive and optimistic about the real support that the network has and the dedication from some real big strategic partners and people who are actually using this stuff the most every day. I'm really excited about Solana. I think the stuff that they're doing in NFTs is only going to kind of get better. I think they really surprised a lot of folks, and Bartosz Lipinski, Jordan Prince, Jerry, Larry, the whole, like the guys working on the NFT infrastructure. I mean, hats off to them. They added so much value to the Solana network. It's remarkable. It's unbelievable what that app and NFT kind of team did within Solana Labs. So I think there's a lot more exciting stuff to come. And it's what is it now? A $12 billion market cap, which is, I mean, at one point it was up to 100 or 85. It's down 85% from its highs. If you're a long-term believer, I'd be adding.
Is that total supply accurate? 345 out of 508. That's actually better than I thought, based on.
Yeah, they don't have the overhang isn't bad anymore. Remember they had that monster unlock.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Should we pull it up? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. Should we chill our old ideas section? I think we
those are the
nailed
March.
that. Oh, we nailed that thing. I feel bad I didn't stay. Look at this thing. So this was that final distribution, man. Thing was like a couple bucks. And
yep.
Yeah, we caught it. It was good.
I remember the March future was trading 30 cents under spot. I said, I remember tweeting something like, if you like Solana here, you might as well buy the March future if you have access to that exchange. It's 30 cents under. Oof. And yeah, it was
take me back, man. Take me back to the days where you have a beautiful catalyst to mark a higher low in a reload zone on a strong coin. Oof.
Yeah. I will tell you what though, that whatever you just had up there, where are we right now on Sol BTC? That didn't make me feel so warm and fuzzy.
Like over here. Yeah.
I know. I like.
We have to keep.
All right.
No, it's not bad. It kind of flattened out. Let's go look though. I mean, the BTC pairs have been rallying for longer than people noticed. I think a lot of, there's been a long rally for.
Yeah.
Not as much this one. There's been some like DeFi coins though that it like straight shot for like 3 weeks during the end of the bear that were like rallying versus BTC, and no one really noticed because USD was shit.
Oh, give me a little cup and handle there. Oh yeah.
A little CMP that'll boop beep. Stop. Yeah. No, I don't think we're going to get that. But hey, I think most people should want to see Bitcoin take some dominance back here, because that's the liquidity entry point, right? That Bitcoin is the on-ramp. I still think it's the biggest on-ramp for crypto, other than maybe, $1 billion of Tether. The printer gets going, but like, it seems to be the entryway. Okay, final thoughts as we wrap up. We got your takes on Sol, which I love. Oh, are you gonna buy the cell phone? Are you bullish on the cell phone?
Yeah, I didn't pre-order it yet, but I'm gonna buy one. Yeah, because I mean, support one another, and eventually all these cell phones are gonna be much more secure for crypto, and that's the direction it's going. So why not mess around with the first version?
It's a very shy cell phone. It won't even show us the face.
Yeah. Well, you can go to Tolly showed it that one day on the stage when he presented it.
Yeah, I did watch that.
Yeah, I think I'll buy one, and we'll see where it goes. Bottom line is, they're doing the right thing they're trying to get ecosystem buy-in from developers, use it from the whole thing. So making it easier for the innovators of the future, the app builders, the wizards who are going to build the next generation of cool shit, the next generation of Netflix and Uber and all the stuff that we use constantly, the snaps, build it on Solana network. That's the goal. You can't really quantify what your spend is on stuff like that. The hacker houses they do, the ecosystem plays, and we do it too, because you just never know when that killer app or whatever it is going to be right in your backyard working with you. So I do, I think it's a bigger vision with the phone, and mobile development, like Armani Ferranti and Tristan Ivor, that, close buddies. They're building some really, really cool stuff for Solana mobile and for Solana in general with light apps. And so and Armani is one of the brightest developers I know in the whole space. So
who else is coming out with a phone?
Who?
The homies over at Current. Now Earn FT, they got the Mode Mobile.
Ooh.
So it's not the first crypto Android phone that I've heard of. Mode Mobile is kind of like a rewards-based play-to-earn style focused phone. So that's cool. I've been OTCing some of their new token, which is not live yet, and pushed back again to September. But I'm not in a rush to launch anything in this market just yet. Let's get a little frothier. Yeah, I like the idea of it. Somebody in the chat joked. They said, "Is there a Pegasus 2?" Anything that can defeat that security? If you guys don't know what that is, you can listen to some Joe Rogan podcast with some ex-CIA guy. I was actually listening to it. It's crazy. So you usually have to click a link to get malware on your phone. This Pegasus 2 is like a Saudi, US, whatever, NSA spy software. Apparently they can get it onto your phone. You don't even have to click anything. They can literally just identify your phone, send it to you. It's on your phone. It's pulling all your data, listening to all your calls. It's crazy. So if they can make a phone that prevents that, the Saudis won't spy on me anymore. God, drive me crazy. Always at my front door. I'm just kidding. I don't think I'm important enough to worry about that. But
crazy.
Anyways, Pegasus 2. Very scary stuff. Guys, I think we're going to wrap up. I want to go back over here to our sunshiny getaway. I did have a final thoughts question for you, but I've lost it because we started talking about the phone. I got distracted. It wasn't that important, apparently. But as we go into the latter parts of this counter trend reversal, it's still just a counter trend reversal as much as I want to say bull market's on. I'd say playing from strength has never been more important. I think buying when you're very comfortable is probably not the right idea. I think buying next time you want to puke your guts out is probably better than that. But as Rob pointed out today, probably the best takeaway from today's show is identify your time horizon. Know what you're buying for. Are you buying for 10 years? Then don't look at it the next day or worry about it. Did you get the right pip? If you're buying for a midterm swing, you're halfway through the trade already. It's a little late. Wait for that retest. If you're buying the scalps and you're just in and out on the day, you want to make money right now today, then you have to check who you're following, check who you're listening to. Because if you find a midterm bull and you try to get into a scalp long, it doesn't equate. So that's my final thoughts.
All right. Yeah, I think stay nimble out there. I mean, don't get too caught up in the hype and find yourself kind of buying tops of chop. But I think the future is bright. What's
really crazy is that what's most likely to happen is that all of these reply guys that are just everywhere right now. Part of why I flipped bull when I did down here is because like anything bullish is like, you're a dumbass. Don't you know about macro? Well, look, a lot of that liquidity or whatever, like if we get up here, there's going to be an orgy of buying. That's probably what's going to drive us there, but it's also what's like, and that's the distribution. That's, I think, odds on favorite for an area where everybody who is long here, a lot of this buy volume, they're going to be distributing the shit out of it.
Can't see. You got to tell us what level is that because we couldn't see.
Oh no, I do it all the time. The classic end of the show rechart, but basically it's up here. It's this massive resistance that is going to be likely where people get distributed on, and people who are sitting there on their stables right now refusing to FOMO in actually do eventually just collapse and FOMO in. It's uncanny. It's not even like maybe. I mean, if we go up there's just going to be a ton of FOMO. So yeah, just be aware of that shit, guys. Look, nothing about this next year is going to be easy to trade. Trends are the easier trade. What we're about to head into is dark, gross, smelly, washing machine cycle stuff. So never been more important to always play from a position of